Fighting games are hype. Everyone who watches this probably plays some online competitive games, because competition in and of itself is thrilling. It's exciting, especially when it's one-on-one, head-to-head competition. Winning a match in team games is cool and all, but can you really compare to the same elation of beating someone in a long and close set, or finally overcoming your rival in a first to 10? Probably not. However, where does this excitement really come from? Some of it is just inherent to the challenge of beating another person, but you might be surprised how much of it is sort of manufactured by the game mechanics. And I don't mean this in a bad way. So let's take a look at how fighting games generate the unmatched hype that you won't see anywhere else. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe for more fighting game videos. Cheers! One of the most basic but efficient ways to make the matches fun is deceptively simple. You're looking at it right now. Can you tell what it is? If you set the timer, then I'm kind of impressed. There were so many options and you just chose the right one so easily. That's almost scary. Anyway, you know how all fighting games recently want you to be more aggressive? Well, the timer is like the earliest example of this direction. It's there to give you an incentive to fight. While nobody likes a timer scam, it also leads to some really intense situations where players try to secure a health lead with only a few seconds left. Speaking of music, that's just one of many things that Tekken 7 did right when it comes to creating hype. Adding a new track just for the final round paid off massively. It really made the end of each match feel special. Suddenly the music gets more intense and you know that this is it. This is the time to lock in and give it your all. The community took a liking to it as well, or at least Tasty Steve, the noise master, did enjoy it quite a bit.
Will he approach it like Tasty Steve?
Oh, now like that, the down four,
he tried.
beat.
Although Harada wasn't too enthusiastic about it.
Why are you singing every tournament? That's terrible.
But of course we can't talk about Tekken 7 without mentioning its most hyped feature, the slow-mo. It kinda feeds into our previous point about last second scrambles. The slow-mo in Tekken activates at a very crucial moment. When both players have low health and their attacks clash, everything will slow down so that you can very clearly see the decisive strike. Suddenly you get to appreciate and anticipate what happens next, while normally it would be over in less than a second. I don't think it's an exaggeration to call this mechanic an absolute stroke of genius. Nothing else compares to it and probably never will, although if you think otherwise, I'm definitely interested to hear your suggestions. While I don't find it nearly as exciting, if I had to pick a competitor for slow-mo, it would be Danger Time from Guilty Gear Xrd. When your attacks clash, there is always a random chance that it will activate Danger Time, and it's instantly hype. The whole game just stops and it gives players a little countdown so that they have time to plan their next move. You see, in Xrd you can cancel a clashing attack into almost anything, so this is a perfect moment for crazy mind games, gambles and hard reads. But if it was just that, it wouldn't be Danger Time. During this period, all damage is increased by 20% on top of introducing additional mortal counter, which massively increases the potential combo routes with longer hit stun and cancel options. People often criticize this feature from the competitive standpoint, but it's so much fun if you look at it more casually. It's like the game turns on sudden death and now a single good decision can change everything. Aside from that, Xrd has another feature that is relevant to our topic. Clutching out a win when you have almost no health is universally hype in any fighting game, but Xrd made those moments more likely thanks to the God system and how it shows your health bar. The system is a bit complicated, but to dumb it down, as your health goes down, your defense goes up, so you take less damage. Health bar plays into it as well, because the majority of the bar represents only a small portion of HP. This means that Guilty Gear created a situation where visually you almost have no health, while in reality you could still take some hits. Some other games like Marvel vs. Capcom have done this as well. And it's such a nice way to make the players feel like they're in a do or die situation, even if it's not entirely true. We mentioned comebacks already, and it's definitely a big part of what makes matches exciting. Nobody wants to see a one-sided stomp. Fighting game developers picked up on that pretty early on, and started experimenting with various comeback mechanics. SNK were decidedly the first here. In the original Art of Fighting, once your health is almost depleted, you get access to a fittingly named Desperation attack, a super, essentially, which you could use as a Hail Mary. Since then, we've seen countless iterations on this. In KOF, losing a character grants players an extra bar of meter, allowing them to do combos that are far more devastating. Street Fighter IV did something similar with the Ultra combo, which filled up as you received damage. And obviously there's Tekken with the whole Netsu system, as well as the Rage Art and Rage Drive that followed. Comeback mechanics have always been a contentious topic. In games of skill, it feels illogical to reward the loser, but it's hard to deny that comeback mechanics have allowed for many exciting highlights and more intense matches, where even a wounded and limping opponent cannot be treated carelessly. Finally, another major hype factor in fighting games is how the game looks. Technically, there are lots of things we could mention here, but one immediately comes to mind before the others, and it's cinematic supers. Personally, I hate when matches get interrupted by a cutscene, but I know I'm in the minority here. And most people seem to love the flashy and satisfying super animations. It helps that these supers usually serve as a sort of last stroke, an exclamation point that ends a devastating combo. On top of that, they usually allow the action to leave the confines of fighting game movesets. They add a little bit of flavor to the action, while also accentuating the character's personality or fighting style. You don't have to go far to see how hyped people are about this. Millions have tuned into Max's streams or YouTube videos to watch him go over every super in a game and try to evaluate how cool or impressive they are. Most of the mechanics we discussed here are not some hidden secrets, but when we look at things, it's interesting to ask, why are those things there? What purpose do they serve, and how do they achieve this purpose? In this case, we have quite a few design elements that exist for multiple reasons really, but one of them is to simply make the game more fun for you, to give you exciting matches that feel special. It's a great showcase of how meticulous the design process is for fighting games, and in understanding it, it helps us to appreciate this genre just a little bit more. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and goodbye.